Welcome to Sales Chaos. My name is Dan Waldschmidt, writer of the Edgy Conversation Sales blog, writer, speaker, strategist, ordinary dude with an outrageous vision. My co-host.
I'm Todd Schnick with the Intrepid Group, Intrepid Marketing, Live a Intrepid Life, writer, blogger, author, speaker, distance runner, all those things.
Yeah, and I think you have to put a little insane in there somewhere.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Well, welcome to this edition of Sales Chaos. We're going to set the clock for 12 minutes. When you hear the chime, time is up, and we'll stop talking, which may be a good thing if you don't agree with us. If you do agree with us, well, keep reading because we'll be writing some other stuff in this blog or this section of the video, so you can we'll debate about it online. This morning, what we wanted to talk about was a subject that is near and dear to us, and possibly somewhat to quite a bit controversial. And the whole idea of social media experts. Let me just breathe for a second.
So you've made the decision. All right. Okay. I think it's time to integrate the social web and social selling into our organization.
Yeah.
How do I start? Where do I go? I want to get professional help, and I think the problem is that there are literally tens of thousands of experts.
Yeah, there are now more social media experts than there are car salesmen.
Oh, there are.
And possibly we now find them more annoying.
And I think I would rank them lower on the scale than car salesmen, to be honest with you.
Which does actually, if we're being fair and balanced, we're not. We probably have to pay someone $5 for saying that.
Yes.
But there are some amazing experts, and you and I were talking before this episode. They don't even. What's funny is they don't even call themselves experts. They're just like amazing.
A general rule of thumb is if their Twitter bio says expert, don't talk to them. If someone
because I want to talk to you.
Well, because they're gonna spam you all of a sudden. Yeah. So I mean, I think that's a key rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Is if they call themselves a social media expert or social selling expert, then I think you should run as far away as you can the other direction.
Stay away. Yeah. So part of this episode is not to rant and rave, although we can do that quite a bit, and we have 10 minutes and 11 seconds left. Just to talk a little bit about, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, and so you need help. We all need help. I need help. Todd needs a lot of help. Don't tell him, he's right here next to me. But how do you then, if you're thinking about jumping on this thing called the World Wide Web and all the social media platforms? So what do you do?
Yeah, well, it's a great question, and it's the question that most people watching this video are asking themselves. All right, fine, I'll walk away from all the self-called experts, but where do you go? Well, there are a lot of qualified people who can share some good knowledge with you. I think the better lessons to be learned are from people just like you that are out there already doing it. Mm-hmm. And if you get on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn and you spend some time interacting with people.
LinkedIn. I like LinkedIn groups.
LinkedIn groups are a great resource because they're real people for the most part. Now, be careful because experts hang out in those groups.
But sometimes you can just ask questions.
Just ask questions.
It's like what's the question? When the social media. I mean, is it how to hit the send button on Twitter? I'm not being too silly, a little bit silly, but not a lot. How do I hit the send? I mean, what's your question? What do I say? Oh, those are vastly different questions. What do you say? I mean, that's a philosophy thing. That's a heart and soul and strategy. I mean, that's the stuff that mainly we work on is business strategy stuff. The how do I push the Twitter button or which tweet platform do I use? TweetDeck, Hootsuite, Seismic. What do I, do I use Salesforce Chatter? I mean, all those those are two different questions. So, pop on LinkedIn groups. That's, which might be your biggest source of business experts in the world, and ask a question. I mean, we're both involved in Focus.com. They've got 600 some odd experts on sales. Now,
Focus is a great resource.
Yeah.
Quora is a great resource.
Yep. But you have to know what you want to ask.
That's the key.
You can't just say, how do I do this thing? How do I make $1 billion? Well, you throw up a double arches like McDonald's and say billions and billions served. I mean, these are silly questions. You have to know what you want first. That starts with pen and paper,
Yeah. And we talked in other episodes, Dan, that I think part of the problem with the social web and social selling is the fact that I think most people do overcomplicate it. And they think there is this intricate strategic plan that's has to come together that has all these tentacles and nuances to it. It's not that complicated, in my opinion. And then maybe some debate on that subject. I think I think you'll agree with me that a sale begins with a human interaction and a conversation and building a rapport.
It does, yeah.
Well,
how else?
How do you? So think first. How do I do that when I'm sitting across the table from someone, looking them in the eye, and apply those same lessons to how you interact with someone on the social web?
Yeah.
And that's really what it's all about. It's it's learning how to connect with people on the social web and how to actually have a dialogue with someone.
Yeah.
A lot of people struggle with that, but that's the key. Before we go too further, there are 2 books I do want to recommend that are great resources, led by people who are what I'll call an expert. They don't call themselves that, but they are. One book is called The Now Revolution by Jay Baer and Amber Naslund. Great book. Really good book if you are a larger organization trying to bring social selling into your larger organization. Another book that just came out is by Jason Falls and Eric Deckers, called No Bullshit Social Media. And that is exactly what the name implies. It removes all the hype, it removes all the crap, and really gets down to brass tacks and how you integrate this in your system. So that would be where, of course, all 4 of them blog, and those are great resources as well. But that's where I would, that would be my recommendation and where you start, because I think, Dan, reading those 2 books is going to help you begin to formulate those questions in your mind that you're suggesting that they need to do. Then, once you have that framework and that foundation in place, then I think it's easier to get out there and start interacting with people. Well, you just hit on the key point.
Yeah.
The best way to actually learn this is to get out there and get your hands dirty and begin to figure it out.
Yeah. So we have 5 minutes and 45 seconds left. What we talked about first was you have to know what you want first. So a lot of the experts that you'll hear have this niche knowledge, and they may have some really neat tips and tricks. It's on this one little slice. Before we were filming, I was talking about it's like baking some pumpkin cupcakes, and we're arguing over how much ginger versus allspice. It's like, what about flour? I mean, what about the important ingredients like business strategy and business culture? That plays into it. I mean, if you're a jerk in real life, probably your social media is going to be...
It's going to amplify that.
Yeah, and there's no expert that can help you with that necessarily. That's something you have to solve. But we talked about, if you know the questions, there are places like LinkedIn groups, Quora, as you mentioned, Focus.com, and you can go to Google, but type in some stuff. I mean, you get some answers to questions. Now, great books, great place to start, because they will help you think through things like, oh, that's right. Let's talk also about... some of the expertise that's out there is one, for some of the experts, if you know what you want solved, I want platform experience, then look for people that you see on social medias who are using these type of platforms. For instance, YouTube, like Julian, right, makes these fantastic videos on @Julian, right, on Twitter is his handle. He makes Julian TV. Julian Smith, yeah. Just so he may be a guy you may want to take notes from. I don't know. I mean, I enjoy his work. I don't think I could copy him. He's got that quirky sense of humor. But you know what I mean? Like, study these people, right? So you don't need to necessarily listen to what an expert says. I mean, you can, but would you do what Julian does on YouTube, on Facebook, or on Twitter? Would you? I don't know. I don't know that it would work.
Well, let's talk about Julian. Julian co-wrote a book with Chris Brogan called Trust Agents. Yeah. And Chris Brogan is recognized as one of the foremost authorities of the social web. Is he smarter than any of us? Not really. He's just like one of us. The difference is he's out there every day.
Yeah, that's right.
Interacting with people.
Yeah.
Talking with people.
Yeah.
Sharing with people.
Yeah. And trying to solve the problem, right? Not just... I have so many questions, let me turn to an expert, maybe an expert will solve my problems.
He's not a Harvard MBA.
No. He even writes about stuff like this. He's like, I was broke, didn't have any money,
Oh yeah, no, he came, but the point is, he built his network, and it's successful because he built his network one person at a time, by interacting with them face to face and directly on social web. And that's what it really takes.
It does.
It's getting to know someone, building that trust, and building that rapport. That's how a sale begins, in my opinion. And the problem with social web is that experts are going to say, oh, you got to set up a Facebook page, you got to do this, you got to do that. they never really talk about the human side of it.
That's
and
right.
That's the difference.
And you know, one of the areas of expertise that you might need is, you know, it's hard to change what you do until you change who you are. I'm not trying to be all Aristotle on you here. I'm just saying, very simply, I mean, an expert can help you in setting up your social media platform. We've got about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. The expert can help you with that. But I'll tell you what, guys like Todd and myself, and others, we're no one special, would be happy to help you, you know, at no charge. Just send us a question. There are a lot of kind of hidden experts, I'll call them, who would be delighted to help you if you have a specific question. Hey, Todd, what social media aggregator do you use? You know, do you use Hootsuite, or what do you think about Seismic, or what do you think about TweetDeck, or oh well, here's what I like. Why do you like it? You know what I mean? There's all these hidden experts,
and a lot of it is experimenting and trying.
That's right.
You know, there's a lot of great content on the Social Customer and
Yeah.
the Customer Collective and social media today. A lot of great resources here.
Yeah.
A lot of people you can uncover there. You know, one other piece of advice: if you do hook up with someone who is a self-proclaimed social media expert, my recommendation is, say, give me a demonstration of your work. Show me some case studies of actual things that you've implemented, because you'll find that there are many who will share with you some really wonderful stories and really real true examples of some success they've had helping a client integrate that in the system. Others, they're not.
Yeah.
And that's obviously a clear sign that you ought to just stay away from them. So.
Yeah, it's attitude. You know, I think so. You know, while we get all wound up and you know, look, if you go on Google and talk about social media experts, you'll see all these kind of riffs about there being more social media experts than there are SEO experts, which is like amazing breakthrough, right? Because that was the old challenge of being an SEO expert. But you know, part of this is our fault as business leaders. I think we have to take ownership on this. Is the fact that, you know, instead of trying to solve our own problems, like you said, getting out there and mixing it up every day, we kind of just go, just please solve this for me.
Someone else will handle it.
Please wave your magic wand over my, you know, over my business, and I'll magically have $5 billion more in profit. And so part of this is why, you know, you mentioned Customer Collective, some of these other amazing sites, providing information, aggregating amazing experts and pulling them together. Anything to say? A couple seconds?
That's I think we're good. I think we covered it all.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard topic. It's a hard topic, and we're out of time.
Out of time.
Out of time. Listen, this episode on social media expertise. I'm Dan Welchman.
Todd Schnick. We'll see you next time. Sales Chaos TV.